see where I'm going?
Yeah.
People aren't starting.
People aren't starting.
They're just not making. They're thinking, they're pondering, they're strategizing, they're debating. The difference between people like me and the far majority is I'm just doing it all time. The best thing, I think the first best thing I can tell you is don't front. The number one mistake they make is they try to oversell themselves because they think they need it to have people's attention.
Try to oversell themselves.
Correct. So let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Whether it's life coach, inspirational figure, business coach, whatever form it takes, I think it's much smarter for you to talk to the world about your process of going through this than the advice that you think you should be giving them.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And that's where people are struggling. I got real lucky. I've never said this, D-Rock, so pay real close fucking attention. I'm not sure that if the internet was around in its current form, that I would be as successful. Because at 22 and 23, I knew I was special. And I might have not been patient enough to first build a business, first get experience. I didn't start talking to the world until I was 35. And I love to say to you, be patient, to you to be patient. I'm not sure if I would have been. I'd like to think I would have been, but the freedom of I love to hear myself talk. Okay. You know, and I think anybody that think about, so do you, and so do so many of you, that's what it is. And it's nice, there's nothing wrong with that, it sounds bad. It's funny, a lot of what I deal with now is being okay with not being politically correct. Work-life balance, cursing, whatever, meritocracy. You know, I don't know if you've seen this. Did you see that I was on The Breakfast Club? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you watched that interview or some of the content that I've been building on. I'm on a hot no excuses kick. I have a lot of female entrepreneurs. I have a lot of fans that are African Americans. I spent a lot of time in that community in my college years. I just think I'm giving the best advice to women and minorities in business today, which is tough. And it's crazy. You have to understand, in my body right now, it doesn't feel great. It feels a lot better going somewhere else. The problem is, it's the truth. The market just doesn't care. And what's cool is when you actually say, fuck it, then you start betting on your strengths. Do you know I was a businessman in a world where going to smart colleges was the only thing that mattered for businessmen? You were only a good businessman if you went to Harvard Business School. And then I reversed it. I'm a DNF student. I curse, I don't dress the part, I do me. And then you know what happened? The world came to me. And so I would tell you that the best thing that you're gonna walk out of here with is something that took me a long time to really realize, is if you wanna pull this off and you want people listening to you, there's only one thing, the truth. Everybody says that fucking cliche term.
Be yourself and all that shit.
It's unbelievable how much that's the reason I'm winning. And I think it's easier when you have a level of success, and it's harder when you're climbing up the ladder. But I think that there's a lot of people who, if they talked about the journey of the climb, could win. I think it's the best piece of advice I can give right now to a bunch of 20 to 30 year olds that feel that they should be talking to the world and bringing value. Talk about your journey of trying to find that voice and synthesize it properly versus, go find, because the problem is a 30, 40, 50 year old listening to your 1 minute rant video on Instagram, even if it's powerful, there's a level of cynicism of well, what do you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's fair. And look, you could just be a whiz kid about the world, and that exists, but I do think there's a smarter way to context it. It's like starting the sentence of you should versus, it's funny, right now I can say you should because I built so much.
Yeah.
But if I was at 20, it needed to be my intuition says, and that changes everything. Or when I met with Gary today, the takeaway I got was, got it? market will give you money. The market will give you money, whether it's Kickstarter. I'll give you money. You just have to give somebody what you want it against. So the biggest problem right now is finding money is not the problem. Really, it's not. I'll explain.
That's definitely my problem right now.
Well, let me explain. It's not. It's how you're looking at the world.
Yeah.
There's things like AngelList and Kickstarter. Do you know how much harder it was for your mother to get money?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that shit.
Do you know how hard somebody would slap you? Do you know that the 1973 version of you, if he was sitting here, would punch you in your fucking mouth? Because money is the last thing you have to worry about. AngelList, Kickstarter, the world can give it to you. You start a Kickstarter. Can. You know why most of them fail? Because most shit is whack. Because most stuff isn't good. Because most people don't give a fuck. You can go to AngelList and hit up all the angel investors. The real question is, before you go there, is I think most people say, everybody says to me, Gary, I can't find money. And then I go, cool, I'll give you money. What do you got? And then they don't know. So tell me, what am I buying? Your brand? What, in perpetuity? Got it? We're living through a really interesting time in the world right now where people don't where art and science and business are colliding, and they're all very different. I understand the art that's in your heart, but how are you gonna, see, I got lucky. I had the art and the business. But okay, what am I buying? There's no buying. Buying into Gary Vaynerchuk would have been a really good idea for a lot of people, but it wasn't for sale, and I didn't even know how to sell that. What do you sell? What are you gonna make 20% of my speaking fees, or my book deal, or my TV deal? Just right? I guess you could do that. I actually do think that plays out over time, but if I said to you, cool, I got money for you, what are you selling me? What's the business?
So what I hear in that is when you show up with more content, that allows people to see more of what they're investing in.
No, what I would say is, what's the container I'm putting my money in? You could have unlimited content. You could have 4,000 episodes of a podcast and the greatest Instagram account I've ever seen and the funniest Snapchat and Instagram stories I've ever seen. Great.
So that's not inherently letting people know what they're investing in.
That lets them know a little bit about you, but what's the vessel? Got it?
So you're saying...
So when I meet Fuck Jerry, or when I meet the Fat Jewish, I know they've got attention on Instagram 3 years ago that really matters. What am I investing in? Oh, Fat Jewish, you're making a rosé? Oh, I can put $25,000 into that and own 8%? Now you've given me something to put the container in. Oh, Fuck Jerry, you want to become BuzzFeed? You're going to build a website and have traffic and sell ads? You got to come to me and say, what am I investing in? You have to put your thing into a container that's investable. Nobody's writing a check to a person.
Yeah. Okay,
Package it. And then it gets hard, because once you package it, you have to be able to explain it in business terms. And that's not necessarily what everybody does.
Yeah.
This is where it gets into partnerships. You're already 8 minutes over, so you're winning. Yeah. Don't even worry. Don't even think about. You're not even close to that.
Why not?
Because you don't have the money to really build the team, right? You can have homies help you out along the way. Truth is,
I feel like I've exhausted those resources though.
Good. Let me give you a real good answer. I got a feel for you right now.
Yeah.
You need to work on you before you worry about a team.
What do you mean?
I mean, you got to get your shit together. You're responding to the right thing. I don't know much. What I do well is I talk, and then through reaction I listen. That's how I get a lot done in a meeting like this, right? And I could tell that you've got certain things that you need to do before you worry about a team. Get your thing in place. I don't know how much into my content you are, but I always say nobody you've ever met got there without the hard work. Nobody you know. It's just real.